My name is Akindele-Nelly. I'm a photographer based in Lagos, Nigeria. So every time I post my images, people always ask me, Benga, how did you do this? Benga, how did you do that? So I've been getting numerous questions over time. So I'm going to be making a couple of videos talking about my thought process and how I've been able to achieve some pictures that I've created. But in this video, I'll be talking about a couple of things. I'm going to be advising new photographers and existing photographers on the kind of gears they should buy based on the kind of work that they do. So in this video, I'll be talking about types of cameras, I'll be talking about memory cards, and I'll also be talking about shooting modes. One, types of cameras. You should choose your cameras according to the kind of photographer you want to be. One, we have the crop sensors, we have the full frame cameras, and we have the medium format cameras. One, the crop sensors. The crop sensors are cameras that have a small image size sensor. They are smaller than that of the full frame cameras and also smaller than that of the medium format cameras. Crop sensor cameras can shoot more pictures within a second compared to the full frame cameras or the medium format cameras. So if you want to be a fashion photographer, when I mean fashion, I mean runway photographer, you want to shoot sports, you want to shoot track and field, you want to shoot wildlife, the kind of camera that you should go for are in the group of crop sensor cameras. For example, the Nikon D3000 series, the Nikon 5000 series, the Nikon D4 and D5. Why did I say D4 and D5? D4, D5, D6 cameras are professional cameras, but they share something with the cropped sensored cameras because they also have high FPS. So with this kind of cameras that I've mentioned, you would do well with the high FPS that they have compared to the full frame cameras and the medium format cameras. The full frame cameras are the likes of the D800 on Nikon, D850, D600, D650, and in Canon you have the Canon 5D Mark III, Canon 5D Mark II, Canon 6D, and all of these cameras are in the full frame section. So a full frame camera would work well with a portrait photographer. If you want to be a portrait photographer, I would advise that you invest in getting a full frame camera. Also, you can get the medium format camera, but just that the medium format cameras are a bit on the high side. So, as a portrait photographer, I would advise start with a full frame camera. Advantages of starting with a full frame camera is that you would have a large sensor to work with, and a large sensor will give you a large surface area to work with, which simply means you can get more in that frame or your image size. And again, a full frame camera gives you a shallowness to your depth of field. So if you're looking for those kind of portraits, or you're looking to creating those kind of portraits that have soft edges and they are lush in the way they look, I would advise that you invest in full frame cameras or medium format cameras. Good. So let's talk about memory cards. A lot of people and a lot of photographers don't understand how important memory cards are to their work or to their workflows. A memory card can either enable you to get an image or disturb your workflow. If you don't want that, then I would advise that when investing in a memory card, ensure that you check or ensure that you buy a memory card with a large storage space. Also, ensure that you buy a memory card that has a high recording speed. I'm talking about the likes of 120 MB per second, 150 MB per second. If you're using a camera that was created or manufactured between 5 and 7 years ago, it is of essence that you invest in a memory card that has high recording speed. So, if you're a professional photographer and you shoot RAW all the time, which I advise that you should do, ensure that you buy a memory card with a higher storage space and also high recording speed. If you don't do that, you would suffer something called lag. You suffer what we call camera lag, because when you're trying to acquire a series of pictures within a second, your camera would lag because it will spend a lot of time trying to record on that memory card. For instance, most of the modern cameras that we have now, taking to example the D800, the D850, in their raw format, they create an image of about 32 to about 48 MB per image. So, as a portrait photographer, if I want to shoot 3 or 4 frames within a second, I will be needing about roughly 32 times 4, which will give you 128. So now imagine I'll be needing about 128 MB per second to record. If I have a memory card that is 96 MB per second, I would have to wait for about 2 to 3 seconds for my camera to respond. And that means that I must have lost something. I must have lost an event. I must have lost that moment that I'm supposed to shoot. So I advise, ensure that you buy a memory card with a high recording speed so that your camera work or your shooting process will not be disturbed. Shooting mode. So many times I've come in contact with some photographers and they will say that as a professional photographer, you should shoot in manual mode. And I'll be like, yes, shooting manual mode is fine, but it depends on the situation at which you're shooting at, or you're shooting. So, if I'm shooting in the studio, yes, I should use a manual mode because I'm in control of the lighting. Every light in the studio is spitting out any value that I have decided. So, in the studio, it is necessary and it's important that I shoot with manual mode. If I'm shooting an event, or I'm shooting sports, I'm shooting wildlife, I'm shooting landscape, or I'm shooting in any situation or circumstances that I am not in control of the light, then I will advise to use the 2 semi-auto modes that are either on Canon or Nikon camera. One is the AV on Canon, which is also abbreviated as the A on Nikon, while it's TV on Canon and also abbreviated as S on Nikon. Those are the aperture priority and the shutter speed priority mode. When shooting aperture priority mode, what you're telling the camera is, I will choose the aperture and the camera will choose a shutter speed that matches the value that you have chosen for the aperture based on the lighting condition determined by the camera's light meter. Your camera has an inbuilt light meter. So with that, the camera will choose a corresponding shutter speed to match the aperture value that you have selected. And with this, you would get a good image. If you're shooting sports, you're shooting wildlife, I would advise to use your TV. On Canon, use your S. On Nikon, and that is the shorter priority mode. What you're telling your camera is that the shorter priority or the shorter speed is of priority to me. I want you as a camera to choose a corresponding aperture value that matches this shorter speed which I have chosen, and based on this lighting condition determined by the camera's light meter. Like I said earlier, the camera has a light meter embedded in it. So based on what the light meter is telling the camera, based on the lighting condition, the camera will choose a corresponding aperture value to match the shutter speed that you have chosen. And with this, you find yourself getting a beautiful image. What you have done by choosing any of these semi-auto modes is that it has taken that stress off you, where you have to be in charge of both aperture and shutter speed in a condition or in a situation where you only need to be in charge of one. So finally, I would advise that as a professional photographer, you should invest in a camera that allows you to use 2 memory cards, which simply means a camera that allows you to have slot 1 memory card and slot 2 memory card. Your slot 1 memory card will be your primary storage, while your slot 2 memory card will be your backup storage. Digital files are flimsy, which simply means your memory card can get corrupt at any time. So to avoid that kind of mishap, it makes a lot of sense for you to shoot with a camera that allows you to have 2 memory cards. 1 in slot 1, 2 in slot 2. 1 in slot 1 acting as your primary memory card, 2 in slot 2 acting as your secondary memory card where you back up your files. Back in days, people shoot with film. Films are not as flimsy as digital files. The only way, or most of the common ways film gets bad is when they are exposed to light. But memory cards can get corrupt anyway, especially when you're shooting and then you're deleting files on your memory card. I see a lot of photographers do that because they want to conserve space. They shoot and they say, oh, I've exhausted my space. Then they start deleting pictures on their memory card. The memory card can get corrupt by such act. So I would advise, invest in memory cards and don't delete one image after the other on your memory card. Doing that can corrupt your memory card. Or your images can get lost during the time you're going to be transferring them from your camera to your computer. So you have to be careful. If you want to transfer your images from your camera to your computer, I would advise that you copy your images from your memory card and paste on your computer in your desired destination. Don't cut and paste. Copy and paste. If anything goes wrong during the mode of copying or during the mode of transferring, your images are still safe on your memory card. But if you cut to paste, and if anything goes wrong between or during the transferring process, you would lose your images. So let us bear in mind that when we are transferring our images from our camera to our computer into our desired destination, let us ensure that we copy and paste, not cut and paste. So I hope you understand what I've just explained. If you have any question, please leave your question down and then I would address it. If you have any misunderstanding, please get in touch with me by leaving your question in the comment section. Thank you so much for staying with me and listening to my advices. I hope that we'll get to do more videos, and then I hope that you would subscribe to my YouTube channel and then hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Thank you.